All right, good afternoon, one and all. Thank you so much for joining, and we see a lot of people coming up and joining this show. So welcome all for the SF1 Pro HR Tech MENA Roundtable discussion. So we'll start, let all of us settle down in the next 2 minutes of the time, and we're going to start for you the digital transformation journey, which is much agile in the nature. So we'll take 2 minutes and then we'll start. I see a lot of participants joining us. So just give us a few minutes and we are on the time. And we also have the panel already with us today. So I'll be introducing the panel in a shorter while of it. All right, while the people keep joining us and a lot of, much awaited session on SF1 Pro HR Tech Agile Digital Transformation webinar. Today we have a distinguished panel with us and they're going to enrich us with their experiences. And also we have the esteemed customer who happened to get the best of the SF1 Pro, the solutions that have been, provided for the organization during the pandemic and the post-pandemic, and today the benefits have been humongous. So keeping that in mind, I welcome all the audience. A very good morning to one and all. My name is Sai. I'm working as a senior HR manager for Yes Technologies and also heading the learning and development. It's been about 15 years in the HR fraternity of it. I got the privilege to have a discussion and also to get some enlightening thoughts from the leaders on the agile digital transformation of the HRs. So welcome all the HRs on the audience panel there, and I also see that a lot of people joining. So let me not take much time here and make any one of us wait. So before we start, I just have a few ground rules which can help all of us. So before we begin the session, I would like to take you through the functionality of the webinar platform, which can help you to interact with us with a smoother way. So the session will be recorded for you, just as a heads up to you. The link will be shared to the attendees later this week. Through the presentation, the team at the back end will actually work with you for any Q&A functionalities. So you can put your Q&A part onto the panel, which you can see on your screen as audience there. Also, we'll be putting the attendees on microphone on the mute, just to keep any distractions away from this particular webinar and to have everyone's valuable thoughts shared clearly to our audience. The last but not least is, yes, you can use the Q&A panel for it. And definitely we are all working from the home, and during the pandemic times and lockdowns have been called and a lot of things are there. I hope everyone doing great and safe, and we can excuse any noises from the background so that, during our discussions, it can actually be any kind of a disturbance. So we are muting for audience for the same reason, but at the same time, you can have the Q&A posted there. So thank you so much for joining us today's session on the Agile Digital HR Transformation webinar today. First of all, I take the privilege and welcome all the audience who would be interacting with our panel. There's a lot of things in the store for you. And today we have the complete surprise package of SF1 Pro, which can also give you some kind of heads up of some poll that we're going to carry out today. And also this session will also cover a lot of digital transformation so far in the market and help you and give you the guidance to see how the HR world is changing at a very faster pace. And we can actually see that you're going to get the benefit from this webinar. So that's our promise. Definitely, we're going to start this. Without further ado, I introduce our panel. So we have the first member or the key person from the Soltius, who's the managing director. He is Mr. James. James, can we have a hi from you? All right, James. So we also have our esteemed customer, Mr. Senthil. He is one of our esteemed customers who's going to give us a little more insightful thoughts onto how the HR transformation has happened in the Hcm hospitals. He's a business application specialist with 17 years of experience in the technology, with 3 years of proficient SAP material management and a strong knowledge of the integration of FICO. So I welcome Senthil also onto the show. Hi, Senthil.
Morning.
Very good morning, Senthil. And we also have from the HR fraternity and also head SAP, Hcm and SF service line, who's been there across and working on the HR front and have become an HR techie for a period of time. And with his rich 24 years of experience, is being the delivery and delivering the key projects of the major verticals of SAP SF and won a lot of accolades and the customer accolades and awards from SAP. And he's from Yes Technologies. He is heading the SAP Hcm and SF. None other than we have Sharath, who is going to be our one more panelist. Welcome, Sharath. Sure, can we hear you?
Hey, sorry. Good morning. Sorry. Good morning, everybody. Thanks a lot. Sorry for the intro. I also fear of the other things like hobbies, where I meditate a lot. So that's one of the reasons why I was a bit off mute.
Thanks for joining. That's great energy, Sharath.
Looking forward for an exciting discussion. Thank you very much.
That's great. We wish to have a key insights in the HR digital transformation. Also, we have the lead consultant for the success factors who've been the best of the industry as a techie. We have 13 years of experience and a specialist. He's Nagesh Polu, who has done a lot of implementation and a lot of global implementations with SF, Employee Central and LMS and various other Employee Central and success factors modules. So I welcome Nagesh Polu as one of the expert and specialists to this show. Welcome, Nagesh.
Hi all, very good morning. Thank you, Sai.
Thank you, Nagesh. So that's our panel there, and I really welcome all the audience. Also, they are our key, experts in terms of working on various organizations, and they have been part of the key change drivers in the organization. So I welcome all the audience who have registered for this webinar today. So, well, I'll just come back with the first point, and I am sure the person who's smiling there, I would like to really catch up with is James. James, so how do you see this HR digital transformation journey going to be for the next 5 years, keeping the pandemic and the post-pandemic things happening in the industry? Could you please give us some greater insights into it?
Thanks, Sai. I'm pleased to enjoy my smile, if nothing else. Anyway. Hi guys, thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it today. We're unprecedented times is something that we hear a lot about recently, and we've all been learning on how to operate in these new times. I mean, as an organization, Soltius has been implementing HR systems and now success factors since 2006, 1st of April, in fact. 2006 is when we first started off, and we've learned a lot about what the region requires as a whole, whether it's succession planning with the transient workforce, whether it's keeping information within the organization through learning management. All of these things are still relevant today. However, from an operational perspective, we've moved into a new space now, which is really employee engagement, and how we actually get our employees to engage with one another. If we're working remotely, some people in the office, some people at home, we've got hybrid models. We're working on project sites, and we've got people all over the world working on those projects. And how do we keep people engaged, whether it's through surveys, Qualtrics surveys, to make sure that everybody's happy, giving them the opportunity for feedback and to actually talk to the management about what's going on. And secondly, through integrating video Teams meetings to ensure that people can actually see one another and engage with one another and provide the platforms for them to do that, so we can actually try and keep the company culture going through a remote workforce. So I think that's really the challenges that we have today, and I see that we're moving forward very, very quickly with these with these systems now, and yeah, it's become the new norm, and that's what we're working with, and that's what we implement, and that's what we offer to our customers.
So James, that's very well said. Just a few questions I have before we really move on. But is that something like the engagement you're talking here? Is that purely a technology engagement, or how it's going to be a differentiating factor? Is it only we're trying to bring out something in the market? Is something as a technology that can actually hook this current pandemic scenarios with associates or employees at remote locations? How is your, Soltius, your Soltius having 25 years of experience in the market, how it's going to be a game changer for all the people in the future?
Look, I mean, as I says, we're learning from our own experience.
Right.
Yeah. All of a sudden, sometime last year, everybody stopped going to the office. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And we were scrabbling and struggling to understand actually how we were going to keep people together. And then we learned, yes, we need to have team meetings. Yes, we need to have global meetings. Yes, we need to have announcement meetings, similar to what we're doing now to the organization, where we can actually talk and provide input and information. We can't do it around the water cooler anymore. So we need to find other ways to get the information out there, and that's what technology is allowing us to do, and that's what is allowing us to keep engaged with our employees.
That's great, James. Very well said. I think the cooler talks, the human touch, and everything is getting transformed to a technology-based the touch that we can have. And I really take the word the culture, take the word engagement, which are too crucial for any HR transformation. So that's great. I'll come back to you, James. Maybe I just want to look at certain other panels really coming up. Maybe I'll just take it over to Sharath, because the huge experience that you handle a lot of HR gamut of it. Sharath, just want to understand is something like the SFOne Pro as part of it. Do you think this is going to really have a lot of benefits, which James is going to really put it up, or what's going to be the differentiating factor for us in terms of its features, advantages, and benefits? Could you please give us some light onto it?
Sure, Sai. I hope I'm pretty much audible. Just wanted to check it out before. Thanks a lot for confirming. So, yeah, well, before I really touch upon the what is SF Pro all about and what actually it consists and what is the key features and functionalities and benefits. So the idea behind this, bringing up this package, has got a lot of thought process into it, and as we are interacting with the various customers in different sizes across the regions, and especially with our presence in Middle East region, so we keep meeting our customers. And similarly, we are also as a SAP Gold partner, we closely work with SAP. So when SAP all mentioned that there is something that we want to work with you on this packaging solution, so we said that is something definitely an investment from our side, where we need to bring in pool of people with expertise, and we need to put them on a dedicated task, and we need to bring a lot of knowledge into that particular building this particular package as such. It's not something that it is available in the shelf, you just have to pull it off. No, it's not like that. So there is a great amount of effort in terms of teaming up the people and then bringing them together and then aligning with SAP. And then we actually started working towards this. Now, having said that, what is that all you worked as a team? So when you ask me this question, so as a team, what we did is SuccessFactor is actually a HR cloud application, which is available on a subscription-based pay-as-you-use, and it has got complete modules of like recruiting, onboarding, employee central, payroll. So there are various modules inside of it, right? And any company, when they want to implement a bundle of these modules or one module or the complete suite of it, they what usually do is they actually list down their complete requirement and they actually subscribe to that many modules. And then the partner like us will walk into and partner with the customer, and then go with the implementation process. This is the typical process of engaging into any particular project. Now, once we understand the project requirements, then only we are able to make a very typical time estimate of the engagement. What kind of time it is going to take. Whether, let's say, it is going to take 18 weeks of implementation, 22 weeks, or 24 weeks. So all this will happen, and which is not predictive. It is totally based on what is the requirement. Based on that only we are able to arrive to the overall timelines and the cost of it. Now, there are customers where they want to ask, they're asking that, do you have something readily available in your shelf, which you can just offer to us as a package? Okay. So that is where we actually worked out this particular SuccessFactors Pro package, where we have bundle of all the components, and also each one of it is a separate pocket also, right? So it's like, you are walking into a superstore where you see the bunch of pockets, and then you can pick up whatever you want. You can pick up a half cage packet or a 1 kg packet, based on your requirement. So that is the concept that we arrived at, and then the packages are available with a basic variant and an extended variant. Okay, and in that there is a pre-built solutions that are already built in. Along with that, there are a number of templates that we kept ready for the for the rapid deployment of the solution. So by way of it, what we did is we normally, for any module implementation, for example, learning management or a performance and goals, let's say the customer want to implement these two modules. Ideally, it takes a mid-sized company, it takes minimum 14 to 18 weeks of timeline to implement this particular piece. Whereas we have brought down the overall timeline about 30 to 40% cut down the time, and then brought it. So that is one of key features. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think, as part of business and the landscapes that, the business is actually spreading globally. So the timelines are the key for it. And you're saying it's about 30 to 40% is actually the reduction in the timeline. So what is the typical time usually the organizations take to, get this localizations or implementations, and what way it is going to be different with, success factors, the kind of SFOne Pro? So what timeline it's going to really, get this solutions into the real world of, implementation?
Okay, let me give a quick comparison. See, normally in the absence of SFOne Pro, if the customer wants to implement, let's say, performance and goals, employee central, recruiting, onboarding, and then these are the 4 modules, let's say customer want to implement. Ideally, the timeline would be anything between 18 to 22 weeks. That is the timeline that it takes for them to implement all together, all these 4 modules. Whereas the same thing in your basic package, it actually can implement it half of it. Let's say 12 weeks of timeline, we can implement it. Okay. Oh. So this is bringing a lot of, not only bringing down the timelines of implementation, but it also has got pre-built best practices inside of the solution. So when we are actually taking it and unpacking it and giving it to the customer, so there are a lot of work that has went in terms of configuring all those things in the system, and which we actually bring it and deploy it at a customer instance. So that's the great advantage. And within the shorter time, the customer can start using it. You can't imagine a solution that can be started using less than 6 weeks of time frame. For example, I think we have a live customer, Senthil, where we have implemented recruiting management in 6 weeks of time. So they started using it. The solution was live, in fact. Yeah.
I was about to get on to Senthil, but get to a discussion with Senthil. But I think, Sharath, it's a very good insight from you. Before I really call out for a poll, which very interesting poll for our audience who have more than certain good number joined us today. We have a poll coming up. So one last before I really go on to the poll, Sharath, what does awards is all about? SAP related awards around you. What is that? It all signifies to the the whole accolades that you have received from SAP.
Oh yeah, that's one of the proud moment I definitely call it, and I would like to thank Nagesh and his team, for really putting up the best efforts in winning these awards. Actually, these are the awards that we received from SAP for our excellent contribution. Coming out this particular package solution is one, which has got meticulously reviewed by SAP. There are a list of tasks that SAP does it, when they really qualify a solution. So there are a number of partners they actually contend it for, and then they go and they say that we have this solution, please certify. So it's not something that they immediately do it. There are a list of quality checks that they actually do it. And that's what exactly they did it when they actually before awarding this. So there are multiple iterations with it, and whatever the intelligence and the hard work that is went in designing this package, taking the live customer example and then taking all this business process, standardizing those business process, and then taking into the demo system and then building all those configurations. So it's actually a very Herculean task that the team, the lean team, that is about 4-member team along with Nagesh, has done that, and then helped us winning this particular award from SAP. So there are 2 awards inside. In fact, for 2020 there's a pandemic year. For normally people hate to call 2020 as a year because they prefer that it doesn't appear part of the calendar, but somehow it's really turned out to be very well year for us in terms of recognitions what we received from SAP. So we also been recognized for our excellent contributions and value add we are bringing, part of the implementations and the other services that we are extending as a partner to the various customers. The other award what we received is SF Best Partner Award. So these are the 2 awards that we received for 2020 year from SAP.
Oh, that's great insight, and congratulate the team for that, Sharat. So very good. So we can have a small poll for the audience. I'm sure it's like they'll start interacting and they started posting some Q&As also. So for the audience, I'm sure it's like you're very special for us in terms of having this interactive forum, keeping it live. So you can put it up your questions on Q&A, the panel which is on your screen, and also we can actually take these questions at the end of this session with the panel members here and the distinguished leaders today with us. Can we have the poll, please, for the audience? All right, I can just take a minute, and I'm sure this poll will also get you some kind of the free assessment that can be done for your organization from your Soltius team, which can help you to really get the idea of which happened to be said, like Sharat, a month from now. You can actually have some, bigger, benefits from this. So SFOne Pro roundtable, you have the quiz on the questions on the screen, please. All right. So just on this note, I think let me just take this to our specialist, who's Nagesh over there. Nagesh, I'm sure with this kind of global experience on the technology front, and you've been seeing a lot of platforms, a lot of other offerings happening as a competitive edge. Today, the world is seamlessly going with at the flip of one call. The customer is actually looking at some other benefits, and they take to the new benefits from different offerings that they get it from the market. So as being an implementation expert and specialist, okay, what do you think the localization and the implementation, what enablements this particular SFOne Pro brings to the benefits to the business or to the organizations?
Well, that's a great question, Sai. So, Sharat already introduced about SFOne Pro, but let me tell you, before we started designing this package, so we had a great, assessment sessions with all our customers as well as prospects. So when we met them, the first question, it's a generic one. Do you have a solution that comes with a fixed cost or a fixed cost with a customized scope? So that was one of the biggest challenge. And then, we know that market has many prepackaged solutions, but I can promise this is not just any other prepackaged solution coming. So as I said, one of the assessment, one of the question they came up with a fixed cost. Second thing, they want to get it implemented and they can jumpstart their transformation project within no time. So that was one of the biggest challenges. So taking these into consideration, we started designing this package taking 4 elements. We considered 1, the localizations. 2, it should always be unique in nature. So when I say unique in nature, we included a few, you can say extensions or localizations based on industry as well as region. So if a customer comes from UAE, like the best example we have today, Ream hospitals. I mean, Sendil can correct me if I'm wrong. So we implemented recruiting. Then we also add some extensions based out of their industry, based of the country they are in, and based out of their employee types and whatever. So we had that, and the major part is like our solution is powered by people analytics. Not many solution comes with people analytics. And finally, as I kept saying, we have clearly called it out. We are coming with a fixed cost and a customized scope. It's not just, we are going to dump and just say, okay, you can start using it, and these solutions are not scalable or not, extendable. No, our SF1 Pro, it's always scalable. And again, I can bring Ream hospitals. We implemented a SF1 solution, but taking the solution from there, Sendil and team has extended it to like anything. I mean, when we speak to Sendil, he can bring more examples on that. So having said that, I mean, I can tell you, it's not just a normal prepackaged solution that is available from any other SF partner. So that is the reason
So
maybe.
one question there, maybe sorry to interrupt. When you're
Yes, sir.
saying that it's a pre-packaged, it comes with its own set best practices as a package. Is there a scope for custom making anything for the customer? Because a lot of times it's all about different companies work in different the regions and the way the demographics and various other factors to be considered. So how does your this area of workaround of customization can really be there? Because I understand it's a fixed scope, you're trying to bring it out. With a fixed cost, you're trying to bring it out. But how is going to really make a customer happy? Because that's most important for the organization's success. So how does a customer really get the benefit of any customizations that they have? It does this allow anywhere?
Yes, I mean, of course. So whenever I introduce SF1 Pro to our customers, I always call it as a customized SF1 Pro solution. It's not just like, as I kept saying, it's not just a prepackaged. We designed it in a way where any industry, like we have been doing success factors implementations, I think, from past 10 years or so. So we took all the experience coming from, and again, we had a previous solution called SF1, and taking those experiences, we designed this SF1 Pro powered by people analytics. So as I said, you rightly mentioned, like we have a lot of extensions based out of industry, based out of country or your locations. So solution is always customizable, and our scope, that is the reason I said, like it comes with a fixed cost but a customizable scope. So we'll have assessment sessions with all the customers before we implement, and we take few customizations that are really required for the industry.
So Nagesh, maybe customization front, I really got it. Okay, I think your customer is there in place is what you're telling me. One question which is really filling in my mind is as being part of HR and coming from that fraternity of it. So I want to understand from this, like we have a lot of different things in HR, right? From recruitment to the extent of payroll, compensation, so many other things are there, and learning management and various other things. So where do I start? I really get the kind of a thought do I need to really go for all? How is it like it's going to really make my journey easy?
No, not at all. The beauty of this solution is you can pick anything. I mean, when I say pick anything, you can start anywhere and go anywhere. Like, for example, so again, where do you start? That's a good question. So that is the reason, our SF1 Pro has one more parameter or element, whatever you call. We call it as discovery or assessment session. So what we do is we go to the customer for a 2-hour or a 2-day session where we'll start interacting with the HR team placed. Okay, so we'll find all the pain points and we'll start recommending, okay, first start with employee central or maybe start with recruiting. Then you can slowly extend the solution. So that's the beauty of SF1 Pro. They can pick anything. It's not just, like they need to take entire solution. They can start with any module. So when it comes to their roadmap, the assessment sessions will really help them to understand. We will bring all the experience that is coming from past 10 years, and we'll put all the scope or whatever the solutions, and we are also giving a demos on the live systems, so that employees or the HR team from the customer can realize okay, this will currently suit us. Okay, let's go with recruiting and onboarding. And then later part, as I said, our solution is so much scalable or extendable, you can always pick other modules and keep going.
Great, Nagesh. Sharath has something to say. He is just giving me some hint over there. Sharath, please.
Yeah, I mean, so in fact, Nagesh has pretty much covered what we are actually doing over this particular question. What you mentioned. It's not we are trying to bring a technology piece and trying to sell it out to the customer. So what we are trying to bring it over here is our knowledge and our experience as a consulting experience, we can call it. So we come and sit with you, you in the sense of the customer, and then the customer key team, understand the complete business objectives and the business goals of the firm, and whatever the direction that they want to really navigate. We actually prepare them a kind of a roadmap, a digital HR transformation roadmap, you can call it. So it's not that a single piece that you do this piece and and get away. That's not the objective of our Soltius, right? We bring in all this rich experience and we help them evolving a proper digital HR transformation roadmap.
That's great, Sharath. So when you're saying a transformation, and there's a thorough digital transformation, I can really take that point. But definitely, as we have the esteemed customer there, Senthil, I just want
I just want to add one more point here. So
yes.
to Sharath's comment. So we can take as an example. So I know that Senthil will be speaking on that. So when we were part of implementation with Hrm hospitals, so again we had all assessments and we started with recruiting. It's not just they picked all the modules. We started with recruiting. Based on that experience, they picked the onboarding and EC later part. So these are, we have n number of examples coming from our customers.
Great. I know that, having said that, 450 Fortune 500 companies already, Soltius and a team is working for. So let me go back to Senthil, because Senthil is like, I didn't touch base so far. So let me, Senthil, always with your smile, it's always great to have you here. And thank you so much for being the happy customer so far and joining us in this show. I really thank you for that. But my question could be coming a little more on the basic, not onto this SF kind of it, but how your organization has given a thought about it. Is that the pandemic enforced you to think in these lines, or how the thinking process started? Because a lot of companies, or either top CEOs, like one of the research says CXOs, about 85% of the CXOs think digital transformation can get the major business benefit and the sustenance in the market, but hardly about 10 or 15% of the CEOs really put things into the action. So keeping that in the mind, how your organization as a Hrm hospitals has really got this onto the thought, what is that, the background or the history or a little genesis around it?
Hello, good morning, everybody. I'm Senthil, working as a business application specialist in Hrm Hospital. Initially, I came as a MM consultant, and I know that FICO module also. So I'm looking into that integration as well. Initially, we were planning to go with only the SAP ERP solutions, FICO, MM, and Hcm modules. When Hrm Hospital is located in Hrm Island in Abu Dhabi, Emirates. It's in Abu Dhabi, nearby Abu Dhabi city. This is a greenfield hospital. When we started implementing the system, like the pandemic situation started, so it was very difficult for our HR team to arrange the interviews for the recruitments. So that time we thought of thinking about the online recruitment system. Then we came up with the recruitment module, and in the Hcm modules, we just kept with only the Hcm payroll. Hcm payroll is in the ERP system, and the rest of the HR process we're planning to maintain the success factors. First, we started the recruitment module, and it was very, very useful because of the pandemic situation. Normally, when we call for interviews, in this situation, anyway, we have to call face-to-face interview, and we have to arrange with the roundtable interview also. So first level, second level, and it was very difficult due to the pandemic situation. And people will be applying from some other Emirates. There are some restrictions also, travel restrictions too.
Absolutely, yeah.
That time, recruitment module was helping a lot. It was very useful, and we have activated our career site through the success factors and through LinkedIn. LinkedIn, we we are attached with LinkedIn through SuccessFactors itself. Whatever the job postings, we are going to be available through LinkedIn and our career sites. People used to apply through the career sites. Within a month, actually, we got around 1,000 candidates applied through the system, through the SuccessFactors system, and it has the filtration option. People, if they are not following the proper, if they are not filling the mandatory information, automatically system will reject their application, and it will send a notification to the candidate to apply the mandatory information like working experience.
Right, great.
These are also whatever is the mandatory things, what business is asking, what we are asking, our HR team is asking, it has been implemented by Soltius implementation team. Through that, we recruited around 125 people within 6 months.
That's great. That's
an achievement from the HR point of view in the pandemic situation. It is very, very difficult. And we have at any point of time through that recruitment module that people can see how many people apply to that position and what is the status, how many people are interviewed, where are they now, whether it is in the offer stage or on what stage we can see through the system. We can see, the management can see through the system. We have multiple pipelines implemented in the recruitment module. And whenever the HR moves, whenever HR completed the activity for that candidate, it will be moved to the next pipeline so that the other people will be notified that this many candidates are available in the specific pipeline. That is for the interview or for offer. Yes, you have some queries.
Yeah, so just thanks, Senthil. But actually, I think everything as a process optimization, you just happen to put it up, and things have been very seamless for your organization. I just want to have one question around it. Okay, who is the most happiest stakeholder in your organization today, just on this implementation?
No, it's we cannot say only one department as the happiest stakeholder. First,
Okay.
the HR team. Another one is the clinical. Since it's a hospital clinical team, they have to fill the people because we have to start the operations, and as well as the management, CEO plus chairman. Everybody is happy with that quick movement and quick recruitment happened, and they can able to give their ratings through the system. They can choose whether we can hold the person or we can say thumbs up, whether we can choose the candidate or we can reject the candidate. They have the rights in the system itself, so that it is very faster. The decision can be taken very faster and it moved very fast. As I said, we have filled around 125 candidates within 6 months. In that recruitment module also, when the pandemic, we are about to start the pandemic situation, it is on April month, I think. Within 6 weeks, we implemented it. It went live on June month.
Amazing. I think this is phenomenal.
Within 1.5 months, yeah. It went live.
Because usually the organizations takes a lot of implementation and then finally land up at improving the productivity and trying to bring some effectiveness of the tools and all. But thank you so much. I think, Senthil, you actually just kept everything in the nutshell, and also the complete HR gambit and the recruitment and a lot of communications in a small, nutshell of it. So I really thank you for that. Let me just touch base, Sharath, to understand it really, because as a customer, he is happy, Senthil is happy. But Sharath, just wanted to understand from you, as we will be having a little, running on the short of time. What do you think the companies have to keep it in mind for getting up, and what kind of segments that we can actually target it, or as an organizations can actually approach for this kind of it? Because is it a big sized organizations or a mid-sized organizations, or what kind of organizations can really go for it? Because I understand there could be some benefits that they can really get it, but it's all the barrier comes as like the first movers advantage, last movers advantage. So how is it like, if an organization has to take an edge and they have to really do a digital transformation, what kind of companies it should really look for? Because the thought process is all that is very important for this kind of digital transformation.
Yeah, okay. So that's one of the good perspective that we can actually bring it part of the discussion. So thanks for that. Let me compare it. We serve babies as well as the old generation people, in the sense, like, let me put it that way. So in that sense, any organization that is as small as having about less than 50 employees also to start with, and then having an employee workforce more than 500,000, some of the customers where we actually did it. So the size of the customer, first of all, doesn't matter when it comes to this particular application, because this is one of the cloud application. So you can actually subscribe and use it. So as many users you have, you can actually subscribe it, number one. And number two, your subscription also not mandatory that you have to subscribe for all the components. Whatever the components that you want to use it, you can only subscribe for that. Let's say I want to start my journey with recruiting, and I don't have the other because it's just a startup, right? Example of a startup organization, and I have a lot of other things that actually need to come in place. Before that, recruiting is one of the major challenges that I have, and I have only about 50 to 60 employees right now, and we want to recruit about more than 500 people in next 1 year. So that's where they can actually pick up a recruitment module. And similarly, the mid-sized organization where they maybe it's a grown-up organization, but still they have a disparate systems in the organization. They don't have a unified HR system in place. Because of that, they are not able to engage with the employees, and there is a lot of turnover issues, employee turnover, and then there are a lot of decision-making issues, and the disparities are, whatever the typical HR anomalies that you call it. You see that, right? In a growing organization where the absence of a unique system, obviously all these things creep up. And that's so any kind of organization, whether it is a small or a mid-size or a large organization, it is something that this can go for it. But ideally, when I say this, whether it suits to large organization also. So what happens is, when you actually go to the larger organization, they will have many number of employees, and then when you have a lot of employees, you will also end up with certain business rules having a more than what normally for a smaller organization or a mid-sized organization, because of the type and nature of the employees that you are engaging, right? So there we will have to actually suggest them a different solution. But ideally, SuccessFactors Pro, SF1 Pro we call it, is ideal for any small and mid-sized organization, and irrespective of vertical, whether it is a service organization, whether it is a healthcare organization, education, or they are into oil and gas. So all kinds of verticals, this can be adopted.
Right. So I think, Sharath, you actually kept it. It is for all is what, but at the same time, the right companies taking up the right first step can really make the advantage. So that's very interesting. I just have one question to Nagesh here before I go to Senthil, and also the questions can be posted by the audience. Please, I see some chat questions are coming up, so I request members to we can actually have the Q&A in the next 2 minutes of the time, as we are coming almost to the conclusion of this webinar. So I want the Q&As. Already we have few Q&As coming up. So Nagesh, just one question. Since you are into it and your heart is into it in terms of implementation and a lot of specialization into it, if not SF1 Pro, what it is? So is that like, do you say that this is only the solution? Or I know that, it will be definitely a kind of, a goodwill scenario for you with the tool that you've been working. But with your rich experience, what do you think, if not SF1 Pro, what it can be?
I mean, first of all, I can tell you one thing, Sai. I mean, here we are not at all marketing our SF1 Pro. We are not just another SAP partner globally. Okay, so as I said, one of the examples, Hcm Hospital. I mean, we have implemented SF1, but still till today, I mean, we have been supporting them. We have many, like not just what do you call extensions or something. And coming from customer side also, we greatly engage with them. It's not just what we implemented and we are going. No, as I said, I mean, I keep on saying to my customers, we are not just another SAP partner, or SF1 Pro is not just another pay package solution. Okay, we have many things included, so that makes them much unique, and I don't see a solution that can compete with SF1 Pro.
Oh, great. Okay. It's a phenomenal answer for me also to understand. And definitely this is going to be a great, kind of a discussion on digital transformation, agile digital transformation, because the pandemic times and all. One question, Senthil, maybe I just have is, since you are the customer and who's the happy customer for this, how it actually translated into major gains for your organization, because we always get the customer reviews, testimonials, and other things. But how do you really see this major gains or the win-win scenario for you, and how it got actually translated to end users, and how they are feeling happy about this product? If you can just give some light over there, or can you enlighten us on that?
Yeah, the employee central is a powerful tool where we can use, all the employees can use, they can see their personal profile or anything related to them, from the time of what is the leave balance until that compensation and what are the requests they did, and everything we can do it through that employee central. And there are many custom forms which we developed from our inside team. Even though I was not from the SF guy, I learned from, it is easy to learn, the system is easy to learn, and I developed some of the forms for our business. And here from this success factors, there is no, actually from the employee side, there is no manual request to HR or any department. All the requests are going through success factors only, based on the business process, whether it will go for workflow approval or it's non-workflow approval. Most of the things we implemented with workflow approval. First, it will go to the supervisor, that is the manager of the employee. Then it will go to HR. If it is related to IT, it will go to that IT concerned people if there is any request comes. Almost all the things are through the system only. For an example, salary certificate, if you are requesting, as soon as the HR approves, then the salary certificate will be sent to the HR, sent to the employee automatically with the e-signature of the concerned person. Everything we can develop internally. It is, we no need to depend the solution provider also.
Yeah, there's no dependency.
It's more powerful. And there are a lot of custom dashboards we can develop, and the analytical system is very powerful. We developed the reports for our management requirements. We can see the nationality-wise, how many employees, or the statistical reports. We can see attrition reports, how many joined this month or how many left. Those things we can get it in a single click as a dashboard. And we implemented the reminders and the notifications. Since we are in the UAE, actually our passport and visa renewal and clinical license renewal to the doctors, nurses, and technicians. So this, we define the process in the system. Based on our process, system will send a notification in advance. Example, passport, before 6 months in advance, system will send a notification as a first level notification to the employee, HR, and the HOD. Then after 3rd month, it will send again, once again. Then within a month, when it comes to 1 month, again. Based on our business requirement, we can set our business rule, and the system will send the notification and alert messages. Example, the alert messages are notifications like birthday alert, or wedding anniversary alert, or annual year completion alert. That will it will go as a wish to that employee through HR side. It's an automatic notification to the employee.
Amazing. And I think we
yeah.
don't miss on the day-to-day touch. Yeah. Sharath, I'll come to you. I think Senthil has something to say. Yeah, Senthil, please go ahead. Yeah.
No, that's what the employee central is one of the powerful tool, and we can develop our own customized forms and additional fields also if you want to add it on the existing screens. It is not predefined. We can add our own. That is like a position masters, and in case if you are going with the positions with the budget, what is the budget of the position, and if you want to go with approval, yes, we can. That we implemented after we took over the system support.
Great, Senthil. Thank you so much. The real translation that matters, and a lot of organizations, do have the hesitation toward this. This is a really great input, and it's a real-time input. Thank you so much for sharing that. Sharath, you would like to add, and I also have few Q&As. I'm just going to read out in the next 30 seconds of the time. So, Sharath, you were about to say something.
Yeah, I think I would really need to thank Senthil for the excellent elaboration of how the system is being used and how it has been adopted in the organization and the key benefits that they are deriving. So typically when you look at when you actually execute a typical HR automation and the entire process automation, you may call it, and the way that in the absence of system, the average time that it takes to do a transaction, for example a leave application, when an employee raises the leave application and taking it to the manager and the supervisor, getting it approved and then come back and get the records updated, let's say in the absence of system it's take about 20 to 30 average minutes of the time, whereas it's just matter of 3 to 4 minutes it happens in the system, right? So there is a great amount of time saving that happens out of each of the HR transactions. So, and then if you really factor that into the dollar value, so it's all this time is adding to the productive time of an employee where they can actually work on more productively into whatever they're supposed to carry, right? Rather than worrying about running pillar to post or desk to desk or whatever it is, So that's the best part of it, in fact. And they don't have to sit onto a specific system and do it, They can do it while on mobile, They just use the mobile application and then log in while they're actually attending to a session or over a meeting or over across the conversation in their work section. They just go and do a transaction. They can upload a timesheet of a subordinate, or they can create look at the task list of their entire section team, how it is happening, and then look at the absence report of their employees, if in case they have to reallocate works. So all these are all possible on the go, looking at the mobile. So that is the best part.
Sharath, I think that's a very key point you actually mentioned on the mobile, everything. The world is on mobile now. The life is on mobile. The job is on mobile today. So everything is on mobile. And that's really great to know that as we are running a little on the time and the audience has some questions here. So let me put it up openly to the forum. Either Nagesh or maybe, Sharath, anyone can take it. So one of the attendees, our privileged, audience is asking that, can it be integrated with my existing SAP ERP and SAP payroll? So there's the question. Maybe I think Nagesh or Sharath, anyone can actually pick this.
Yeah, in fact, this is absolutely can be integrated. The best part is if it is a SAP homegrown system, so there is a native integrations are available when you opt SuccessFactors LMS, So you don't have to worry about the integration tools or anything which are built-in available with SAP, and it is a point-to-point integration straightforward. And in case you have non-SAP systems also, irrespective of whether it is on-premises solution applications or the cloud applications, any kind of applications can be integrated with SuccessFactors modules, whether it is LMS or performance and goals, whatever the module you pick to implement, as a standalone kind of a module. Still, those can be integrated with all your existing systems, whether it is on-prem or cloud.
Great. Sharath, further to that, is that like that will still be a good cost benefit for the customer, right?
Obviously, when it is a homegrown, obviously they don't have to buy out any specific third-party tool. And even when it is a non-SAP applications, there are various ways to integrate it. Typically with the ALE calls, it can be integrated where it all depends on the customer requirement, whether what is the frequency they want to have the data actually flow from the source system to target system, vice versa. And so various factors, in case certain aspects, SAP also actually offers a tool called Cloud Platform Integrator. It's called that is something, a connector kind of a tool that's available to integrate two different applications or multiple applications systems can be integrated with SuccessFactors.
Great, Sharath. I have a few more questions. I may just.
So, Sai, before we take one more question, so we have a live example, like where we integrated SuccessFactors with S4HANA payroll. So, Senthil was mentioning about that, right? So, right. We did that, yeah.
Okay, great. That's good to know that. I think the real examples are here. Okay, the next question comes out. I'm sorry, Senthil.
Yeah, we have to interface that employee master data from SuccessFactors to ERP. Then once the ERP payroll is done, employee can see the payslip through SuccessFactors system, that is through mobile or through the PC. Anyway, through the internet they can see.
Perfect. Thanks. So the question comes as, do we have any extensions as part of SFOne Pro? Any extensions? So Nagesh, would you like to take this question?
Yes, sir. Yeah, so coming to extensions, one is like our solution is powered by People Analytics, one of the major extension, and I kept saying, right, so any customer coming up with a particular industry, so for example, again, I can take a healthcare industry, so they have their own requirements. It's not just ordinary HR process coming up. They have clinical teams, they have non-clinical teams and all. So we have industry-based extensions for all the industries. So taking all our experience, we have built few extensions that are readily available with our prepackaged solution. So that is the reason I kept saying, I don't think we have any solution that can compete with SFOne Pro.
Oh, that's great. So one more last question, or rather I have a few more, but I think a few of it already the panel has addressed is what I believe. Hence, I'm not picking that. The one other question comes is, again, this is something which partially been addressed in this digital transformation journey. Can I start with a single function or a module? For example, if we only want to implement learning management system, that is LMS, how much is that doable?
Absolutely, Sai. So again, we have a live customer. So as Sendil mentioned, we started with recruiting, and then once they are, used to it, then they started, going for EC and onboarding. Likewise, I can take a number of examples where you mentioned, like, yes, there are few customers from our side who started with LMS, and then they extended to Employee Central, PMGM, Succession, CDP kind of.
Great. So that's nice. Nice to know that. So we are coming at the flag end of the session. I don't want to delay it further. So one time we'll have some of the customers or some of the audience in that can go for this poll again because it has a free assessment also for you. You just need to click off a button. The team will actually get you the free assessment. So we can have the poll on the screen, please. Great. So do you use the HRM or Hcm system in the organization? You can just give that information. Are you interested in exploring success factors, SAP success factors? You can also throw some light onto it. So would you like to offer a free assessment? This is, I think, very interesting. Nagesh already happened to mention. So with this said, and we are on the time and closing this webinar for today, but definitely we'll catch up with the next episodes of how do we really look at a digital agile transformation. This time we just focused on one of the aspects of SFOne Pro from the success factors as part of the Soltius offerings of it. But definitely the next leaders will definitely bring us a lot more insights from the store. So thank you so much for all the audience joining, and I really thank the speakers here and the leadership team, all members here. Sorry. So thank you so much, Senthil, for joining us, and also Sharath, on a closing note of it, would you like to say something?
Yeah, thank you very much, Sai, for organizing this and coordinating. And thanks a lot. We have a fantastic audience, participants in the session. And the key message that I just wanted to leave it over here that, this is one of the best package, solution package, which you can explore it, and our team can help you, engaging with you to explain more as we start the interactions. And you can get the complete dollar value as well as the best breed of the solutions, That's the beauty of this.
That's great, Sharath. Thank you so much for that, the keynote in the last also. Thank you, Nagesh. Your implementation experience and transformation is really helping the organizations. Thank you so much. So thank you the team, the webinar team from the backend, Aarti and Raj and various other team members who have been supporting here. And audience, please do reach us whenever you feel that we can be a great support to you. Nothing can start till the time we start thinking in this direction. So agile digital transformation is all about the mindset. It's not about just implementing a technology. So the mindset of the leaders make all the difference. So thank you so much, and all the great wishes to all of you, and be safe, and thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day. Bye.
Good day.